A new article on the Navy Times website called the upcoming Microsoft Xbox One a sin against all service members. In the article, they interviewed soldiers to give their thoughts on the upcoming console. This is what they had to say. Navy Lieutenant Scott Metcalf was eagerly awaiting the arrival of the new Xbox One. Now he's not even sure if he'll buy one. Indeed, for many in the military, the next-gen Xbox console may offer more endemic frustration than grand epic gaming, particularly for those deployed downrange, aboard ships, and stationed overseas. Xbox One, Microsoft's anticipated new console, got its big reveal at the Electronics Entertainment Expo Gamers Convention in Los Angeles. Company honchos are confident that it will continue to dominate living rooms over the next decade, not only as the gaming delivery vehicle of choice, but also with a barrage of other content, including a suite of apps, streaming video, and music. There's one big but, however. To get all this entertainment awesomeness, the console will have to check in online with the Microsoft mothership at least once a day. With Xbox One, you can game offline for up to 24 hours on your primary console, or 1 hour if you are logged on a separate console accessing your library. Offline gaming is not possible after these prescribed times until you re-establish a connection, an Xbox spokesperson tells Military Times. Metcalf called that a showstopper for any service members who rely on their Xbox for off-duty diversions downrange, in the field, or at sea, which is to say, just about everyone. And it gets worse for the on-the-go troops. The Xbox One can play only in Xbox One friendly countries. Even if you're lucky enough to have a regular, reliable internet connection while overseas, you'll have to be in one of 21 countries included in Microsoft's server network. So if you're stationed in, say, Germany, Italy, or Great Britain, you're good to go. But if you're based in Japan, Kuwait, or Afghanistan, you're out of luck. We'll have region-locked games. Games bought in the US can be activated only in the US. That means no more ripping open the latest title that just arrived in a care package from home while you're deployed. And forget about buying games locally when overseas. If your Xbox Live account isn't tied to that region when you activate a game, it won't play. Serious security concerns. Even when the Xbox One is in sleep mode, its built-in microphone can always listen in. It's a feature developers say will provide quick voice command access to games and apps. But that could spook commanders who might worry the always connected device could also capture more than just idle chit-chat among troops. Microsoft has single-handedly alienated the entire military, and not just the US military, the militaries of the entire world, says Naval Aviator Jay Johnson. The internet connection requirement is the single greatest sin Microsoft has committed against all service members, he writes in a post on the game developers site Gamasutra. With tours aboard 3 Nimitz-class aircraft carriers, Johnson says he's spent more than half of that past 3 years deployed or training at sea. He describes gaming in general, and his Xbox in particular, as my sanctuary. It is where I went to calm down after a long day of flying. But that won't be true with the Xbox One, he says. No longer will the sounds of Master Chief saving the human race echo through the hallowed halls of the USS Abraham Lincoln or any other USS ship when we have a few hours respite. No longer will you see Marcus and Dom sawing through the locust horde at the bases in Afghanistan after the Marines have returned from patrol and want to escape their reality for a bit. Those days are now firmly behind us, he said. Well, there you have it. Just like many of us have been saying all along, the ones that are going to suffer the most from Microsoft's latest features on their upcoming console are the men and women in military service. A truth that rings no more true than in Don Matrick's famous quote during E3. And the saddest part about this whole thing is that Mr. Matrick and his fellow executives act as though people's concerns with both the check-in system and Kinect are no big deal, that those that have such problems are out of luck, and as this article specifies, soldiers risking their lives are no exception. Out there risking their lives day in and day out, these men and women are more entitled to their rest and relaxation than anyone else. And yet they may have that very same time stripped away just because they are in an area with no steady internet connection or not stationed in an approved country. And yet Microsoft executives are not only okay with this decision, but defend it. They act as though anybody that questions the need to check in every 24 hours is out of their mind, that the simple idea of playing a single-player game without having to connect with their servers is insane. Now I'll tell you what I think is insane. The thought that the concerns of those same men and women laying their lives on the line each day are not important, and that it's not worth it to make an exception. Pretty crazy, huh? If Microsoft was smart, they would do it just because it's the right thing to do. Not to mention good for PR. But either way, they really need to learn to listen. Otherwise, there will be a lot of soldiers out there spending their time resting in front of a PS4. As always, we'll keep our eyes open and see what happens next. That's all for now. Peace out.